Hello and welcome to our time together today. I am truly honored that you would make space for yourself and that we could share in this time together. So thank you. Today I have a question to ask, and it is, who do you listen to? Who has the loudest voice in your life? And how do you listen? So who do you listen to? Who has the loudest voice in your life? And how do you listen? So those are, I guess, three questions, but they're all connected. And I ask this question or questions about listening because I know from my own life how powerful it's been to be able to cultivate and recognize the difference and to understand the difference between listening to a voice that may seem loud, or a voice that is influential, or a voice that comes with a lot of charisma or energy, or a voice that you deemed as more powerful. And I want you to really think about, if that's true, who is that and why? Because when I was able to see the contrast in my own life between giving the power for someone to have tremendous influence in my life because they were a loud voice in my life, literally actually too, and contrasting that between not listening and ignoring my own inner voice has been huge, that understanding. So I really encourage people to pay attention and to ask yourself, who am I listening to? How am I listening? Why? And am I ignoring my own inner voice? Am I moving so quickly that I don't even slow down to check in with my own inner voice? Or maybe I check in with it, but I still put it to the side because I think someone else's voice is more powerful than my own. So the story I want to share with you is about an example, and I have more than one, but an example of how I was able to truly wake up and see the difference between being a passenger of my own life, all because I had let someone else be in the driver's seat by being the loudest, most influential voice because I gave them that position in my life. So this was many years ago, and there was a leader that I was connected to who was very gifted and lots of energy, and who was able to recognize and call forth gifts in me. And that was attractive, and it felt wonderful to be connected to this leader. And so over time, this leader began to have tremendous say because I gave them that say in my life, in my decisions, decisions about my vocation, profession, decisions about how I raised my children when they were younger, decisions about my relationship with my husband. And so it was really out of balance, all because I believed this person and I gave them the position of being the authority in my life. And I thought that was okay, which kind of frightens me right now to think that I thought that, but I did. And it cost me so much to tune out and to ignore my own voice. And more importantly, to ignore the still, quiet voice within me. It cost me that relationship with my authentic self. It cost me my authentic voice. And it cost me a dear relationship. And how did that happen? Well, without giving away all the dirty, messy details, I will say that at a point in time, this leader was in a different position and had taken a different position from my dear friend and her husband. And because I wanted to be viewed and deemed in a good light with the leader, I took his position as well. And so that meant that I was now on the opposite side of my dear friend. It is so ridiculous, and it sounds so silly, this whole idea of taking a side, and we see that show up so much in this world today, of taking a side, and our only side should be that where there is peace and love and respect and honor for all of life and people. But I took a side back then, and I neglected and spoke words of judgment and harm to someone who only showed me love. And I did it without ever checking in to say, do I believe the things that are coming out of my mouth, or am I just becoming a parrot? And it was the latter, but I could not even recognize it. And it wasn't until, actually it was my husband one day, who basically challenged me about a whole nother issue. And it said, you're taking on something that's not yours. And I resisted saying, that he could be right. And I was like, no, that's not true. But his words penetrated. So much so that I began to ask the question, what else have I taken on that's not mine? And all I can say is that an avalanche came down, like the floodgates opened, because I saw there was so much that I had taken on that was not really my own. All stemming from giving sanction, authority, tremendous influence to a voice outside of my own and outside of the still quiet voice within me. And so I felt devastated to see the destruction that I had inflicted and caused. It was so humbling, it was breaking to see that I hurt someone who had only shown me love and generosity and kindness. And so I reached out to her, and many months had passed, maybe even a year or years. And amazingly, divinely, we were able to reconcile. She forgave me. And then I had to, of course, along that journey, forgive myself for not listening from within. And so I ask you, because of that, is there a time or is there a place in your life, even today, where you are not listening to the voice within you? And maybe we're going through the motions too quickly, or we're not slowing down, but I encourage you just to make space, to breathe, to check in from within, and to speak from that place that is in alignment and in harmony with who we really are. And who we really are is always going to be deep down a place of love and peace and tranquility and hope and gentleness and compassion and kindness. And that's who we really are. And so I encourage you today to make space, to check in from within. And I'm not talking about the monkey mind voice, the voice that from within tries to have us doubt ourselves and guesstimate what other people may be thinking about us or about other things or about what we do. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking slowing it down, breathing, and cultivating a connection with that still quiet voice from within. And when we do that, everything is in alignment. When we do that, we can hear both the subtle cues and the overt ones. We can see from a wider perspective. Our hearts open up. We're at more peace, and we are projecting and radiating that peace to others. And it starts from within. So I hope that you make space because of what you value and what you care about, and because of, most importantly, who you are, to